Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Stratos 201 Rehab project. This is day 3 of this year. I didn't give you guys a lot of history in the first video because we were just trying to get something going. I didn't want to miss the footage. But I bought this boat in 2000 and either late 2007 or 2008. I fished it on a tournament trail for 4 years. It was a great boat. Big, heavy, solid. You fish the Kissimmee chain, the Harris chain, you know that it gets rough out there quick and you need a big boat for safety reasons. That's why I bought it. I fished it 4 years and then I got the Triton over there. And then 4 years ago, we did this to the Triton. But in the meantime, since 2012, this boat went to a friend of mine and he fished it for a few years. And then it went to a family member who was going to rehab it and decided it was too much work for him. And then it sat under an oak tree for about 8 years. Last year, I went and got it back. We worked on the motor. I'll probably throw a montage in right here of us celebrating that the motor ran. We have since done compression tests. And even though it's a Evinrude 225 Fitch, that motor ran strong for me for 4 years. It's still got great compression. Can't wait to get it on the water and see what it still can do. I hope it's great. So that's the history of the boat. We're all caught up. Here's the problem. The cockpit was soft. We did a cleanup on day 1. Yesterday, I built these bridges down in the hull and epoxied them in. I've got 3 of them. They're built out of southern yellow pine and birch plywood. They're gonna be completely epoxy coated. The stuff underneath that you can't really get to, I've already epoxy coated that before I seal it up. I will epoxy coat the rest of it. Today I've already cut a half lap in this center stringer that's going to run, because the way this boat is shaped, getting solid plywood in these compartment and getting it underneath everything is going to be difficult if I'm doing it just, you know, full about 50 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the plywood down the middle so I can get up under the fiberglass where the original plywood was, and hopefully it's as strong as I think it's going to be. We've already taken out all the rotten plywood. We got back to good plywood, good enough plywood. But going back in under the cockpit area where you're going to have 2 fat guys walking around, and then underneath the fuel tanks where I'll have 50 gallons of fuel potentially sitting in there, I want to make it extremely strong. So we're going back with southern yellow pine. It'll be completely epoxy encased with the total boat epoxy. We're going to go back with birch, which is a hardwood plywood. I've got a local source, not the big box stores. If you go to the big box stores, you're just going to get the outer layer of the plywood will be birch, and it's $80 a sheet. I've got a local lumberyard here that carries hardwoods and some exotic stuff, but they also had 100% birch plywood, which is a hardwood. It's much better than any plywood you could ever find at Home Depot or Lowe's, and it's about half the price of the crap wood. So anyway, I've got good quality wood. The last thing I have left to do here is I'm going to set my spacers and my guides in for my router so I can route in the other half of this half lap for this center stringer. So y'all stick around. All right, half hour later, 45 minutes of cleanup, getting prepped. I had to trim up a couple of my half laps so they fit. I routed them a little tight, which is good. Got a test fit in there. I'm going to mix up a couple, well, we're going to use two different kinds of epoxy. We're going to use a Total Boat 5:1 slow set to coat the plywood and the bridge stringers. I don't know what you actually call them. That's what I'm calling them. And I'm also going to coat the 2x4, at least the underside right now, so it'll be harder to get to later before I put it in. And then we'll use this Stixo to, it's just the same, it's the same epoxy, it's just already got a thickening agent in it. You put it in with a caulking gun. It just makes life a lot easier. It'll set. And then I pre-drilled 3 screws for their heavy-duty construction grade screws. They will come out before we put the floor in, but they're basically my clamp at the moment to hold everything in place while I'm getting the plywood, at least the plywood patterns cut, because I'm going to try to get some of the floor in today, but we'll see how that goes. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix up some epoxy, and then I'll take you guys back over there and you can watch paint dry with me. Stick around. Okay, so took a break, had some lunch, peeled another layer of clothing because now we started at 50 this morning, it's going to be 80 today. Yesterday I made myself a cardboard pattern for the front section. This is going to go from here forward, and from here forward is going to be casting deck. I'm going to extend casting deck back to meet the console, and I'm going to add 3 compartments. Is what it looks like is going to happen. So I'm going to have a small, like a day box over there. We already got a cooler over there that was from Stratos. The front box in this midsection is going to be trolling motor batteries. We're going to move the weight forward to give that 225 the best chance of a hole shot. We'll take 260 pounds out of the back of lead acid or AGM, put about 75 pounds of lithiums up front, so we should be a net of about 300 pounds of balance shift. So it should come out of the hole a little better. It always did okay, but okay is not good enough anymore. And this is I want this boat to run as well as that one does. So now I cut my piece out of the birch plywood, and I got my hammers and my pry bars, and we're going to see if we can wedge it up in there and get it to fit. If it does fit, which I'm hoping, then we'll just epoxy it. We'll pull it back out, epoxy the bottom of it and the end cuts where the end grain is, epoxy that stringer, and then beat it back in place and screw it down for now. So hopefully that goes as well as what I just said. I'm not counting on that, but we'll see. Well, the first piece is in. More challenging than it needed to be, but figured a few things out. Got my hydraulic jack out, jacked the cap up, which was sagging in the middle because there's obviously no plywood supporting it. I sanded the front edge with a little bit of a bevel so it would go up underneath this fiberglass that's intact here. It's in. I temporarily screwed it down with some drywall screws to pull it down to the epoxy. Once that sets, I'll pull those screws out and fill those holes in with epoxy. Now it's time to make pattern number 2, which will get us probably halfway back to the seat. I don't think I can do it all in one piece because I've got some oddball shapes here. What I think I'm going to do is a piece about 20 inches to go all the way across maybe, or I'm going to do half and just get it from center of boat over. I don't know. We're going to play with some cardboard templates here and see what works best. So y'all stick around. Well, it's 2 o'clock. I'm gonna keep going, but I got everything that you will ever walk on again. It's got hardwood plywood in it. And it's epoxy down, and I've got it screwed down to keep it from flexing until the epoxy sets. Everything back there is going to be underneath the seat or underneath the fuel tank or both. And that won't have to be nearly as precise. I just need to get up underneath the sides where the existing fiberglass cap is, get up underneath it, get it epoxied in. I'll knock that out this afternoon. Tomorrow, I think we may actually put some fiberglass in the bottom of this. So the goal is to get a solid floor in it by Monday morning, so we can start putting fuel tanks and all of the plumbing back in for new fuel lines, new everything. There's really not much other than the compartment light wiring that's going to be reused. So anyway, that's it for day 3 video. Like I said, I'll finish this up this afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow doing some fiberglass work, I hope. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.